It's Wednesday. The word for you today, finding your life's purpose. Maybe that's where you're looking for right now. It's finding your life's purpose. Maybe you know what your life's purpose is. But sometimes it changes. There are seasons in our lives, just like the seasons change. In Acts 26, verse 16, God is talking to Saul, who becomes the Apostle Paul, and he says, "Now get up and stand on your feet. I have appeared to you to appoint you as a servant and as a witness of what you have seen of me and what I will show you." Jesus is calling Saul to be the Apostle Paul. So far, Saul has been persecuting the followers of God. But God's got a plan for him. He's got a purpose for him that's different than anything Saul could have ever dreamed of. Saul's on his way to Damascus to arrest some people of the way, followers of Jesus. And God blinds him. Saul falls to the ground. God tells him, "Get up. I've got a plan for you. Go into Damascus." And there he lined out people to come, and he had a whole plan for Saul. But Paul, who became the Apostle Paul, he had to say, "Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord." And, well, you know the rest of the story. Paul wrote half of the New Testament. He was challenged in ways in his faith in God like none of us have ever been. As Saul, he was very good at what he was doing, but it wasn't God's purpose for him. As Paul, he was even better because it was God's purpose for him. So how can we be sure what God has purposed for us and planned for us? And one is dissatisfaction. Let's say you're doing something and you're so dissatisfied, you're not happy, it's just everything. God may allow you to be dissatisfied where you are to move you from one place to another. God blinded Saul to get him to be where he wanted to be. Could it be possible God allows you to be so dissatisfied where you are to get you to move to a different place? Listen. Sometimes God uses other people to tell us. If you have person after person after person after person tell you, you're really good at teaching. You're really good at this. You're really good at that. Have you ever considered doing this? And it's not just one person, but it's many people. They're probably seeing something in you that you may not see in yourself. So sometimes we get very dissatisfied that God moves us, and other times he sends people to tell us. And then another is discover your spiritual gifts. Discover your spiritual gifts. Perhaps you think that your gift is in teaching, and you start teaching a class and it just grows. Or maybe you think your gift is in teaching and you're teaching a class. You start off with 10 and pretty soon it goes down to 1 or none. Probably not your spiritual gift. Check out and see what your spiritual gifts are, and that's going to help direct you and where God wants you to be. And another one is passionate. What are you passionate about? I love going into a hardware store. The smell of wood and everything's so good. And I just want to buy a bunch of stuff and build it. But when I start building things, it's too short. It doesn't stand. It just doesn't work out. I love to build things, but that's really not my passion. My passion lies in a different area. Where does your passion lie? God has designed you for a certain work. Are you doing that? Are you satisfied with where you are? Are you listening to what people say about how you're doing? Do they line up with your spiritual gifts? Because see, your spiritual gifts, when you use them, everything just happens so easily. There's a story, and it's really it's going to sound like a dumb story, but follow it. There was a man who caught 3 trout from a mountain stream. And as he caught each of them, he placed them very carefully on a thick patch of grass. And while they were in the water, they swam around so effortlessly and artistically and beautifully. But he laid these 3 trout on the grass. And they just laid there, and their eyes fixed straight ahead, and they gasping for air, and they looked helpless. The man looked. He thought, man, they're unhappy. And so he started talking. "Listen, fish," he said, "you'll like the grass. Just try it out for a little while. You'll get used to it. No movement, no response, no change of the fish. A few more seconds passed. Man's neighbor came by and, "Hey, Bob, come over and check out these fish." So Bob came over, and the man explained to Bob what he was doing and how the fish, "I think the fish can adjust." Bob says, "Yeah, I think maybe they can too. We just need to leave them on the grass a little bit longer, and they'll adjust to their environment, they'll adjust their situation, and they'll be happy, and they'll do well." Nothing happened. Fish just looked totally lifeless. After a little while, a little boy comes by, and he says, "Why? What are you doing with these fish? They can't survive on grass. They need to be in the water. That's where they thrive." And so the man puts them in the water, and sure enough, they go swimming away and just full of life and all. Okay, a dumb story. But there's a lot of truth in that. Maybe you and I are supposed to be in the water, but we're in the grass. Maybe we're in the water and need to be in the grass. Are we where God wants us to be? Well, the best way to find out is to ask God. To ask God, and then also check, are you satisfied? Do you get satisfaction in what you're doing? Are you passionate about what you're doing? Are you listening to what other people have to say about how you're using your spiritual gifts? Some people are incredible. They have some wonderful spiritual gifts. They are talented and all, but they're just not teachers. And when they try to teach a class, it just doesn't go well because that's not what God has designed for them. Are you satisfied with where you are? Are you pleasing God? Do you feel like you have found your life's purpose? If we live to be 100 years old, that's such a drop in the bucket to eternity. It's important that we find our life's purpose here. And just because this is my life's purpose right now doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. And be very careful. If you're serving God in a certain area and you get tired, you think, "Man, I'm tired. I just want to not have to do this anymore." Be very careful that it's God leading you somewhere else and not you. Because one of the worst things you want to do is supposed to be in the water and you jump out of the water onto grass. You're going to be very dissatisfied, and it may be hard to get back into the water. God has a wonderful plan for your life. Have you found it? If you haven't, keep looking, because it's not a secret. He wants you to know. But know this, God will use you. He will use you in ways you could never imagine. But you've got to listen to him. Have a good day.